Well, after a hot week, we're watching the last little bit of that scorching temperatures make their way out of the Concho Valley, because by tomorrow this time we could see some afternoon thunderstorm activity, and that's going to be sticking around for much of the weekend as we get ready to wrap up the Olympics. Now, we're watching the temperature change over the last 24 hours, getting a good idea of when we could see some of this rain shower activity by tomorrow, all the way down into those 70s last night, working on the sensor. Then they made their way up into those triple digits, topping out at 107. The record is going to be 109 set last year. That was that string of hot weather we saw last year around this time, definitely boiling us alive. But things are definitely on the cool down right now as we get closer towards that fall and the beginning of school. 105 right now in San Angelo. Everybody else in the triple digits. Lovely shades of pink across the entire region. It has been a hot couple of days across the entire area. 101 up there in Sterling City, 101 down there in Junction. And you can see everybody else joining us in those triple digits as we get ready for the cool down tonight, but definitely a lot of lingering heat, things drying out across the entire region. Dew points all the way down into those 40s up there to the northwest, down into the 60s down there in the southeast. And then the dew points, or at least the humidity indices, are in those teens across the entire board, if not holding on to some of those 20s, down about 10% from yesterday. But we're going to see just how much they make their way up as we make our way closer towards the evening. Upper level pattern is going to show you how the high pressure will finally weaken, and then as we begin sort of that last week of summer, it'll sort of make its way back into the Concho Valley. But you can see it breaking up across the entire region, conditions becoming more meridional, or at least seeing some slower weather make its way through the area. The entire water vapor showing you how the dry air is sort of diffused and reached more higher saturation points across the entire region, but it's still fueling Debbie. You can see it sort of growing in size as it makes its way up towards Virginia, getting ready to move off toward the northeast. You can sort of see that low pressure already forming. Moisture tracker is going to show you where the cold front will push down, at least as far as some of the stronger winds. That's going to push down across parts of Oklahoma and push some of that rain shower activity into the Concho Valley by tomorrow afternoon. Down into the surface, where we're still seeing a lot of those tornado watches being issued for parts of the East Coast, with a few warnings popping up here and there. Tons of flash flooding across western parts of North Carolina. And then, of course, across the Rocky Mountains, seeing some flash flood warnings pop up in New Mexico and Utah. But we're watching the circulation again over Oklahoma. The Futurecast is going to show you how it's really going to rip through both panhandles as we make our way closer towards the weekend. Once Debbie makes its way out of the area, we're going to see a lot more faster winds push through the area. This is Friday by tomorrow afternoon. Here it comes in from the east, takes over most of the Concho Valley. Some strong outflow boundaries, so get ready for some damaging wind and some flash flooding across the entire area. By Saturday afternoon, we see the same setup as we make our way closer into those daytime heating. It erupts across the entire region, again, with those strong outflow boundaries. And then by Sunday afternoon, I run out of data, but we could very well see the same setup before the high pressure pushes back in and we crawl back up into those triple digits. So tonight, down into the 70s, but we're keeping our eye on the humidity. Then tomorrow, much cooler of a day as we're on the lookout for some of that afternoon thunderstorm activity. The right way to end the week. I know the last couple weeks we've seen beautiful Friday nights, but not a bad way to spend the rest of that Friday watching the Olympics as they begin to wrap up. Then as we get closer towards the last week of summer, please take advantage. Get out there, do some fishing, do some golfing, do some grilling, do anything, because by Thursday we're already starting school while those lows are holding strong in those mid-70s. Stay tuned. More up at the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.